Well, I've had a few questions over the years about ESD protection, and honestly, I don't have nearly enough. I don't have any other than I can touch my lamp, which is metal, to ground myself. But I finally pulled the trigger and bought some ESD mats. I think I got two of the same thing. I think they're 1.5 by 4 feet, which is 4 feet is about perfect for this table. Doesn't quite cover my white table, but I don't need it to. So I'm gonna get these laid out here, and I'm probably gonna have to move some stuff here. I got these on eBay, and I don't know that they are name brand or anything like that. The only name brand that I remember seeing on eBay was somebody was selling some 3M stuff, which is, of course, very good name brand. And you definitely had to pay for that name. And I don't know much about ESD matting other than what I've seen on the EEV blog. And basically he said to go for the rubber mats instead of the PVC. So that's what I did. And I went for gray. And I wanted the non-texture. These are definitely non-texture. Decently thick. Should be high temperature too. That way I can hit it with a hot soldering iron and I'm not going to burn it. So I was wrong. 30 inches. These are the 30-inch deep. I think originally I was going for 18 inches, but something about pricing. I kept finding 4-footers cheaper and cheaper prices depending on what accessories came with it. And this is just the button and a wire to hook up to a ground somewhere. I don't even. Yeah, it's just a ring terminal on that, and then the button that actually snaps down here. So I'm definitely going to have to clear off the table. As you can see, it goes back almost all the way to the back of this table. So I'm going to have to clear this stuff off here. Maybe I'll get this stuff off and lay half of it down and just move the TV over this half and then be able to roll the rest of the way out. Sounds like a good idea. Well, I have to admit, that's looking pretty good, and I think you can trim this stuff with scissors, so I'll probably trim off the corners and what looks like maybe an inch, inch and a half off the edge here. Yeah. And there was a piece of paper in there with it, and it says something about Scientific America's Inc. It has an item number, so that must be who made this. I don't remember seeing that in the listing, though. So there's the instructions. I'll probably take a look at those later. See if I can take a quick stab here. Yeah. Yeah, that cuts really nice and easy. That's good. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. Not a perfectly straight cut, but who cares? At least I won't be catching the corners or anything. I think this is going to work out really nice. There's a look at the computer desk workstation area. And right here is the snap. Which just snaps to this thing. this will go to the ground. So we'll figure that out later. I'm still putting all my crap back over here. Kind of a bad spot for that. But the only other option was way back in that corner. And I wasn't sure that I would have room for it, which it looks like I do. It also looks like there was plenty that cord to fit, you know, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. I think we'll just leave it as is though. Alright, so what I'm hoping to do is to connect this ground lead to ground, of course, but I think I might actually have ground just like on the metal of my lamp, because I often touch that thing to ground myself, and basically got my meter set on continuity and touch the bottom middle hole. I've got continuity there. Okay. The wiring in this house really sucks, and it's really, really old, and I'm pretty sure I don't actually have ground wires ran to the outlets, because I've had a bunch of these outlets off, replacing the old 2 prongs with 3 prongs like this, and I don't remember there being grounds. One of the things that kept me from even doing ESD protection. But I was just checking my AC volts, and I do have 120 volts from the hot to the ground. So I really want to figure out why, but one of the things that I'll show you is my electrical box. I'll also show you this doohickey. I don't remember where I got this. Well, it says Radio Shack right there. I don't remember buying this, I should say. But if the right 2 LEDs on the bottom show up, then it's correct, wired correctly. I don't know if you can see that on camera. But they are both green on the right, and you can see right there that that's wired correctly. But I don't really trust that, so let's go to the breaker box and check it out. Alright, so yes, my house is that old. It has this kind of shitty breaker box. But, you know, and I can't tell you what is coming in. This one says main, so I'm going to assume that these 2 are input, and looks like down here, the bigger one, the black one, might be going out and back to the breaker box that's in the utility room. Washer, dryer, water heater, stuff like that are back there. And possibly these big ones here go to the garage. That's the only thing I could really think of. That makes sense to me. But look at the corrosion right there on these 2 terminals. By the way, my finger is nowhere near those. That looks really, really bad. It's no good. So yeah, I want to say down here is where the in is coming in from the power lines. That sounds right, because my meter is on this wall back behind the camera. And behind there is kind of what a grounding bar would look like, but there's also one down below. Okay, back there you can see another, I think they call that a strap or something like that, but that is where all the neutral wires are going to. And then you'll see right here, that is my ground. I know it goes down to a grounding rod right down there in the crawl space, because I've seen it, been down there a few times. And the ground from the other large cables also hooks right in there. So your ground and neutrals are all hooked together right there. But I definitely want to prove that, so I have done this. I've got an extension cord hooked up to the lamp, And I'm going to run that into the bedroom where the breaker panel is. Again, yikes. And I want to test for continuity here. And what I'm looking for is proof that the ground on the lamp actually has continuity up to here. And I'm kind of going to be surprised if it does, if I'm being honest, just because of the way this house is wired. And I do not. But I should have it on the neutral. I do. So anyway, that tells me that I need to hook my ESD mat to the neutral line of the lamp, because the neutral line is actually connected to ground up here. Alright, so I really don't have an explanation for why over here I do not have continuity between the ground and the neutral. As you can see, I do not. But I do have a voltage to ground, 120 volt voltage. The only thing I can really think of is the outlet right here has some other ground. That's the only thing I can really come up with, and I don't see that being the case for real. I just don't know. However, over here, on this workbench, I've also done the little Radio Shack thing, and it tested good. And over here, I do have continuity between earth and neutral. The explanation for this is that this power strip is powered from a different section of the house, which probably has proper wiring on it. So it may actually have an earth ground or earth wire running all the way back to the breaker box. That's the only explanation I can have. So over here I can actually connect up my ESD wire to ground and feel confident that it'll be hooked up right. But over here I see no other option than to connect it to the neutral line, because that's the only thing that I can see that's actually got a continuity to proper ground. And just because I want to be sure, we'll take the neutral and ground are not connected on the power strip. So yes, got continuity between neutral and ground on the extension cord that feeds this power strip. So yes, that tells me that the outlet that this extension cord goes to is actually properly wired. All right, one of the last things I'm worried about with this is the resistance in this cord. You don't want a dead short just in case something goes high or live. You want a 1 meg ohm resistance between the snap and ground. And I've got my meter set on ohms, auto ranging. If I can hold this thing down here. And you can see I got 1.02 mega ohms, which is perfect. That means I do not have to add a resistor. I can just hook this thing straight up to ground and I'm good to go. Alright, so I went to Roll King and bought a couple of these, and the idea is to wire it into the neutral prong for actually on the computer side, and then I can actually wire to ground for this one since it seems to be wired correctly. This is really just a an easy solution. I know it's not the perfect solution, but that's what I've come up with, and it's going to get me to ESD protection a lot quicker than trying to do it a more correct way. I will say, even though I'm only going to use the neutral over there, I went ahead and bought a 3-pronger just because I was looking at the 2-prongers, which were cheaper, but they were both the same size, so you could easily just flip it over and shove the ESD wire straight into the hot line, which is where that 1 mega ohm of resistance comes in to help protect you. Okay, so just stupid shit like that happens. And if anybody knows what they're looking at here, green is your earth or ground, gold is the hot, silver is the neutral line. An easy way to remember that is, how did that go? Black gold, Texas tea. If you can remember that, then for some stupid reason you'll remember exactly where that's supposed to be. It's crazy. That's how I was taught, and for some reason it's stuck in my head, so it should stick in yours as well. And there we go. Let's see. Looks like there's a notch there to match up with this notch on the ground. There you go. Another dumb thing I figured out over here is instead of taking up a space on the power strip, is that the PVM actually has an AC outlet back here. So I can just plug into that, and now my ESD mat is grounded. I gotta run that out from all these stupid wires here, though. Like a hell of a mess going on back there. Well, I've been working with the mat a little bit, and yes, it is nice. It's clean. I mean, the folding table that I was using underneath of it just sucks. You can tell it's heat resistant. Doesn't seem to be puncture resistant though. I mean, I just put holes in it right there just now. Very easy to get dirty. And moving paper across it, it's super difficult. It's not textured, but I guess maybe it's so clean it grips. And I guess that's what I get for not reading the instructions too, because it says right there that the grounding cord has a 1 mega ohm resistor. So I checked it for no reason, but I'm glad I did, just because. So yeah, I mean, I like the cleanliness of it and good contrast. I can, put something small fall off there and I can spot it pretty easy. On the folding table, it's so dirty and things slid around so easy, it sucked. But this is really nice, and finally set up for good ESD protection, so that's a win.